Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Elven Realm campaign. I think I'm seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel, a way out of our economic troubles. You can see that we're down, 4,500 Mirian, and we are dropping by a few hundred every turn. But we do have some things that are going in our favor. One, once Dale gets built up, we will be seeing a nice increase. We'll be making 2,000 just in land tax, just in Dale. We will also be trading as long as we're not under siege, and even administration's going to make us a few hundred. Now, of course, some of this is going to be eaten up by mismanagement, but we'll still be making enough of a profit to actually start making a profit. And we've also got the Dominion building almost complete in Old Ford. That's also going to make a nice bit of a difference. But as you can see, we are currently under siege in Dale. Now, I've gone a couple of turns past the point that I was at the end of the last episode. Just a sally or two, just a couple of very minor battles outside of Dale. So I was ready to do this again here, but as you can see, we would have a bit of a problem if this were to occur. So the Dale army that is besieging Dale is just this, just Barding militia, Barding longbowmen, not a problem. But their allies would join in the attack, or they would join in the defense, I guess. So we would have to fight these guys, Lieutenant Mim with all of his dwarven axe throwers and dwarven axes and dwarven war hammers. Now, that looks a lot less doable, but more importantly, we would then be at war with the dwarves, and I'm not going to do that. We are not going to go to war with the dwarves if we can at all avoid it. We may not be able to avoid it, though. If this guy doesn't move in another turn or two, then we're going to have to go to war with the dwarves, because I'm not going to let Dale fall. So we're just going to hope he's going to move around, go somewhere else. But if not, there's going to be trouble. Now, we are doing some other things. We've taken our major army. This is the all-Elven army, almost, 3/4 of a stack, and we have put Hjorth under siege. Maybe that'll draw some of these Dale guys away. Who knows? Certainly we'll draw this army, and maybe we'll get a sally, but maybe we'll just be able to take Hjorth. And down here we have put Grimhold under siege. We've got a couple of family members, some elves, including our Noldor, and some Mannish rider mercs, and I imagine we will be attacked here as well. Over in the west, just approaching the Misty Mountains, we've got 4 units of Elvillain Wardens on the way to help defend the Anduin Vales, but we've also got some trouble down in the south. Fairfeld, in the past couple of turns, has lost one of our 3 family members, and that is the problem with playing as the elves, because your Elven retainers are amazing, but you can't rely on them all the time, because they will get old and weary with Middle-earth, and they'll just sail away. So if a couple of these guys drop in the next few turns, we're just going to lose this. We don't have the men or the elves here to defend it. The king, who in the last episode defended Amon Lank, found that there is an army of Adunabars approaching through the woods of the southern Greenwood, and this one could be quite a problem for us. So in his attempt to get back down to Fairfeld, he uncovered this army. So we'll just have to see what the AI is going to do this turn. I imagine we're going to be attacked somewhere. Adunabar is trying some diplomacy. Okay, and here they go into Fairfeld. All right, so this looks like it's going to be a big attack. No reinforcements coming from the ford, though. And we're going to have to expect a lot more of these types of battles now that Rohan has been eliminated. Here, this is starting to get a lot worse. We've got a lot of swordsmen, and particularly swords of the shadow. They're being led by a unit of shadow riders. That's really it for the very threatening things, but I'm a little concerned here. So this is everybody who's defending the Fairfeld. It looks like a much smaller force than it had been. Of course, we're missing a few family members. We're missing probably some other Mannish units who just got killed the last few battles, and we haven't been able to afford to replace them. But at least in this fight, there are not any archers, I don't believe, and there are no cav with the exception of that one Shadow Riders unit. But I guess we'll go ahead and put one of these guys into a shield wall, and we'll set up as usual. I want to keep the thresholds back, I think, in case this cav starts to go around the flanks. Otherwise, we'll just bring him down with the other troops. So we'll let these guys do their thing, and then hope this works out. Alright, so the Shadow Riders are just coming on straight ahead. That's great. We're targeting them with our archers. Maybe if we can get a kill, that'll break the morale sooner. So I guess we'll charge downhill here. And we'll bring those threshold troops around to the other side. We've got our javelins just throwing at everything. But yeah, we're already seeing some routing. Very good. This is, of course, a captain-led force. And some of these units are pretty low tier. There are some of the Men of Mordor and some of the Rovanian Forester levies. So those guys are not going to stick around too long. Get these guys all off skirmish there. Okay, there go the Shadow Riders. We have not done much damage to them at all. Still at 6 men. Fortunately, at least our generals are doing very good. Haven't lost anybody yet, really. Alright, Swords of the Shadow are moving around for some reason. Oh, they're probably trying to get over to my threshold troops. Alright, let's run away. Okay, those are... Dark Swords are broken. Good. More Dark Swords. Very good. I don't want these Swords of the Shadow to target my threshold troops. I'll let the archers and javelins deal with them. And I should probably just let my archers choose their own targets. We're doing nothing to these Shadow Riders. Okay, they just get down to 5. Well, pretty soon they'll be joining the melee. Alright, we got a lot more routing now. Some Orc Band are going, the Orc Champions are gone, so a lot of the low tier stuff is starting to move. Alright, keep the threshold troops away. I really can't afford to lose any of them. Alright, let's throw down the archers. And I think this is it. Well, that went a lot better than expected. Took out all of them, took no losses ourselves. So, okay, we can do that for a little while longer, I think. Yeah, but here we go. We've got our king attacked by this Lieutenant Damrod who's moving towards Amon Lank. Now, this is, again, what we're facing. Lots of swords, some orcs, nothing too terrifying here, I guess. But the balance of power bar is not really in our favor, and there's just so many of them that I am concerned. We can't retreat. So what happened was in the previous turn, I think, we were moving through the forest here and got ambushed. I withdrew, and now they're following up. So regardless, I'm not able to retreat, so we just have to go with it. So we've set up our king in the trees here, remembering that he gets some combat bonuses in the woods, and we've also hidden our tiny unit of Elven hunters off in the woods far enough away that they're hidden, and so they'll kind of keep the AI guessing, but hopefully they won't be discovered for a little while, and then they'll just skirmish away. I'm just going to use them as a distraction and nothing more. Alright, they're approaching here, not trying anything too subtle, which is great. Their captain is a unit of Dark Swords, so if we can get over to him, we should be able to hack him down pretty quick. Dark Bows are just standing there. I think I'm going to go for the Orc Champions quickly before they can get a War Cry and start to be a problem. These Uruk Swords also have a War Cry option. Both of these units are tired, though. A lot of these guys looks like they've just jogged up the hill. So if we can cut them down quickly, I'll feel a lot better about the rest of this. Alright, so we've taken care of the Orc Champions. We've done a number on the Uruk Swords. They're utterly tired now as well as a lot of these other units, but we're surrounded and we're now starting to take some damage. Let's see. The Dark Bows are firing. I guess what we could do is let's get the distraction over here and start peppering these archers. I think Rumil is going to do okay. He's got 57 elves in his unit, and he's warmed up. He's not feeling any fatigue just yet. We are completely surrounded, though, as you can see. Now, a lot of these are Orc Raiders, or just the worst units possible. But we've also got Dark Swords and Swords of the Shadow, which are the unit that I'm most worried about. Okay, so here we've got the captain coming over. I guess we did manage to throw some javelins, which is nice. Get a loss or two on some of these archers. But we'll just skirmish away from the captain. We'll pull him away, and maybe that'll have a deleterious effect on the morale of these guys. And indeed, we're starting to see some routing here. We've got Uruk Swords, some Dark Swords, Orc Raiders moving away. We've lost another of the bodyguard, but our Elven Hunters are still alive. Looks like the Dark Swords pursued them a little bit, but have not managed to catch them, and so we're able to throw javelins. Yes, Good choice of target here. Shoot at the Grim Spear, the single man. Okay, so what have we got left here? Just some Swords of the Shadow, some Dark Swords, and then it's Archers and the Captain. Okay, I think we can do it. Alright, indeed, taking out those other unit of Dark Swords, and now we're on the Captain here. It looks like all we've got left are the Bowmen. So this should be the end of it pretty soon here. Alright, we managed to deal with that. Let's see what Dale's going to do, and they've got nothing. So we're free now to make a move around here. Let's see. I don't want to move Rumil, actually, because I'm very concerned about Amon Lang. Very vulnerable, of course. We've just got these 16 Woodman Mercenary Axemen inside. So Rumil, yeah, let's keep him in an ambush position right here. If any of these armies comes around, we'll have a chance to attack them out of order. It would be nice in a way to bring him back to Fairfield, but, geez, Fairfield, I mean, we may just have to write that off. It's certainly doing its work as a buffer, preventing these other elven settlements from falling. But the real solution is going to be Grimhold. Once we take this, well, Grimhold and Langwyke, deal with the Bjornings, and then we can have free movement through our territory. So let's make another couple of moves here. All right, we've got our Elvillain Wardens, and unfortunately this unit that was kicked over on the other side of the Anduin recently has not moved at all. And I'm a little worried that they might turn south and head for Andlang and even Karas Galadon. Neither of these places is defended. So we'll have to deal with them with the Wardens. I think that should be okay. But the first order of business here, assault Grimhold. And wouldn't you know, it's like nothing but dogs. We've got the king here, or the heir, actually, Drang of the Eastern Greenwood. Of course, he's commanding these very fine Bjorning Guard. But the rest of it's just a bunch of war dogs. This is where the stables were, apparently. We've also got Lieutenant Hun standing outside, but he should be no trouble at all. So the only question is, can our units avoid being overwhelmed by the dogs? So one problem with not having any mannish infantry mercenaries or Elvelin is you've got to use elves to push the rams. And honestly, the best choice I thought was to take our spare general here and get him close. Hopefully he doesn't die by ballista fire. But, you know, I don't want to lose any of the Noldor doing this. I don't really want to lose any of my Elven Archer types. So, you know, these guys, if we take one or two losses, we'll be able to replenish them easily enough. Alright, so we're in and using the old standard tactic of stand back and shoot dogs with arrows. We've managed to push a little bit into the walls. They did release some hounds, and so unfortunately we're a little bit stuck near the towers dealing with these guys. But our archers are taking down the handlers, and so when they all fall, I think the dogs are just going to start routing. We've got one or two other units of these hounds, and then we'll be able to move up against the general. Most of the dogs are out of the way, and now we've got our family member here trying to capture the gates. We are getting fired on a little bit, as you can see by the towers here, so he's a little vulnerable. We are winning, of course, but if we can't beat them for too long, I'm a little concerned about ballista fire. But otherwise, yeah, our archers are approaching the center, and thankfully we're not quite in archery range yet. I'm not ready to micromanage this. But I'll leave them there for now. We'll get the gates open, get everybody inside, and then gradually move up towards the plaza. Okay, gates are dealt with. Everybody's approaching the plaza here. I think I'll send up one unit of elven bows, and then the rest will be just kind of staggered behind it. We'll get someone's attention. I'm thinking it's going to be the general here who's going to run out at it first, but maybe it'll be one of these units of hounds. But over on the left, we've also got our cavalry, including some elven scouts. So if anyone decides to come chasing us, that'll be fine. We'll just lead them around a circuit. Okay, it does look like the Bjorning Guard is rushing out. And these guys are not on skirmish. I guess they should be, but it's always a bit of a gamble using skirmish mode inside a settlement. Pathfinding, of course, can be an issue. So yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is actually run them ourselves. We're going to give them orders. Run, 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 run. I don't think skirmish would have done any better, but we'll get them down here. And let's see. Okay, yeah, we're firing at the war dogs. That's good. We've got the Noldor, and we've got our own bodyguard units. Okay, Bjorning Guard are going to charge in, I guess. Yeah, let's do shield wall. I forgot to do that earlier. Okay, great. We're back. And just in time to remember that we have some horse archers over here to watch. And all the hounds look like they're over around, yeah, right over here. So we should be just fine there. Not taking any losses yet, it looks like, from the Bjorning Guard. They're losing slightly. Alright, let's keep taunting them out of the plaza. Unfortunately, some of our archers are getting hit by the dogs, but it looks like the general's holding off most of it. Alright, Bjorning Guard is losing quite a bit now. Alright, this is just about it. Just one man left. He's not routed yet, but he's just got knocked down. Look at him towering over our elves. Oh no, there goes a bodyguard. Alright, don't take out any of my Noldor. There he goes. Very nice. Alright, so with him out of the way, the dogs should be much less of a problem. We'll just run all these guys over here. You know what? Let's send our melee cav in. These guys are going to be wavering, possibly routing before they get there. Very good. Have you guys halt, actually. And we'll clean the rest of this up. Those spears that were reinforcements never actually showed up. They just hung back at the edge. But I guess that's fine. We've at least occupied Grimhold, and we may as well just occupy it. There's really nothing to take, unfortunately. We can get rid of these hosting halls, of course. But the real advantage is that now we can worry about one less Bjorning settlement causing us trouble. And since the AI is down to just one settlement in the area, they may be less likely to move out from it. I guess we'll see. Now in the northeast, we have seen some changes. Mim the Dwarf is no longer commanding an army right outside the city of Dale. But there are some reinforcements showing up, which are going to make this complicated. If we attack now to sally... Oh, they won't show up as reinforcements. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll deal with this off-screen and get back to building in Dale. So Dale is safe for now, but it certainly looks like they're poised to besiege it again, which is just going to delay this even further. So I think the move we need to make is, while it's kind of free, we can either pull these guys back to defend Dale or press our siege on Hjorth, and I think the latter is what I want to do. There's a bit of a danger in this, in that as we acquire more and more settlements and are not able to build them up because we lack funds, that public order will become more of a problem. But I think ultimately it makes sense to get rid of Hjorth. We can at least hopefully destroy both of these armies, bottle up Dale only in Framsburg and maybe any other orc holds that they've captured, and then only have to worry about them from the east, essentially. Alright, so we've already got our archers close enough to the walls to start shooting at the Dragon Slayers unit, which is great news. Let's bring them all up, though, because we have a lot of other units inside I'd like to deal with. But actually, oh, no. We're going to come back to this. We'll come back to the city, don't you worry. Because the big reinforcement army is actually coming from right behind us here, and this has got a ton of units that I want to deal with. So you know what? Drop the ram. We're going to move everybody back over here. Inside this army, we've got Hearth troops, we've got Black Spears, we've got a lot of bowmen, and we can deal with the army that's inside the settlement pretty easily at our leisure once we get rid of these guys. Alright, so let's see, them about there. Bodyguards. Well, let's move one to either side. And we've got some Sylvan axes. We'll move them behind the spears. And our archers are just waiting. I think this is good enough. If I had thought, I could have maybe placed them right on the edge of the hill. But that may have been out of our deployment zone. Already, we're shooting at these Barding Longbowmen, which is great. We're going to get rid of them completely. They've got a lot in this army, it looks like. They've got 1, 2, 3 more units anyway. And they've got a decent mix. Cav, Hearth troops, Black Spears, and Dale Watch. Our Elven Scouts are not yet firing. Let's get them a little closer so they can. And everyone, I think, needs to run. So let's hurry that all up. But this is just a captain. No one's coming out through the gate. Yeah, they're not going to sally. So we can just stand here and deal with this force. Man, if we can get rid of him. All right, focus right on him, please. Only one man left. We should be able to take him out with another volley. Oh, gosh, this hurts. Riders of Dale pursuing, but there he goes. We're going to take some javelins, unfortunately, with those black spears, but these units are pretty quick to rout now that we've taken care of the captain. Let's bring in everybody. Let's make this a grand melee. We'll get them all captured. And if we can keep pressing that advantage of the morale, then we should be pretty good. What do we have back here? They've got a couple of infantry units guarding these archers, but I think I need to start pushing in this direction. Maybe we can get them moving away. Black spears are shaken, always very good to see. And Elven retainers, right. Yeah, you guys move right over here. Okay, that did not push the archers. Well, let's just keep our scouts moving around anyway. And we're doing a lot of stuff with our own bowmen. I just hate to see them taking any losses. Okay, is this charge going to be effective? It's Hearth troops. We're going to lose some men, but they get routed. Awesome. And some of these guys are fleeing back into the city. So I guess, well, our archers are going to take care of that. Alright, scouts can move back around. Threshold troops move up to the Dale Watch. Alright, looks like the bowmen are now unprotected. Alright, yeah, let's focus fire on these troops as they start to come back. And here we're just held up by some Dale Watch. Let's go over here to take out... Oh, they had 2 units of Hearth troops. Okay. These guys are doing surprisingly well considering that. Threshold troops in the back are not going to phase the Hearth troops all that much. And let's save some arrows in the quivers for the actual city push, but that seems like we did a lot of important work. There are some black spears in here. We've got some Dale Watch. We've got some bowmen, actually, quite a few. But so I think what that means is we're going to treat this as a melee push inside the settlement. Let's bring up our scouts and basically do this with our bodyguards. As I can see, one of these threshold troops is down to 11. So, yeah, I think he took a lot of a beating from those Hearth troops. Gate is now open, and our archers are close enough to start shooting at the men inside. And we're cutting down even their black spears. We took out a bunch of their woodman bows. They do have a lot more of those units, but again, if we get our retainers in there, they're not going to be able to stand against us. We've got our retainers in, we're fighting some woodman bows, and we brought our cavalry in just to push them along. And maybe now we can take care of this Dragon Slayer's unit with our scouts. Just 2 men left, but the general is still in play. If we can remove him, it'll make things a little bit easier here, although we do have some longbowmen of Dale yet to deal with. Some Dale Watch in the center, and then over here we've got a unit that hasn't moved at all, and that is just some barding militia. So nothing too serious left. There goes the general. Good, very good. I kind of forgot I was doing that. We'll move them around to pull out the Dale Watch, and that should be the end for the settlement of Hjorth. Well, that was very satisfying, taking out a couple of armies, particularly the one outside the walls, and now we get to deal with inside the walls. Yeah, may as well. We'll lay desolate. We'll get rid of their military stuff and their lord's feasts. But of course, we're going to keep the homeland dominion and well, I guess we don't need the military policy either. But now we've kind of got this army freed up. So for now, where do we want to move them? I don't see any threats around here. That doesn't mean there aren't any, of course. Let's move one of our scouts around here just to see what we can see. Okay, there's a small army approaching, and it looks like Framsburg is just about empty. It's so tempting to go north, but we'll wait for the scout because there could be another large army of Dale that's like desperately trying to besiege Mount Gundabad or something. Yeah, and in fact they own that. So inside they've got quite a lot. Those could be tough units and they could be heading our way. But I think we do want to keep these armies in the area to push back against these troops. So let's see if we can get rid of a bunch of them. Maybe leave the threshold troops inside and keep everybody else out with us. Yes, that works. So we'll just keep moving with this army. It is unfortunate to lose threshold troops in that way. They're just doing garrison duty and they're not even that effective at it, honestly. If a big army comes, But we're going to move these armies in, and now we can strike out, you know, eventually, once we get our movement points back, and deal with some of these guys. Keep Dale off our backs a little bit longer. And, you know, we do have some money in the bank. Our projected profits are way out of whack because we just destroyed a bunch of buildings, and the game doesn't know that we're not going to be able to do that for the next few turns. But we've got almost 10,000, so I'm thinking it might be good to do a little more training. Amon-Lank does have a little bit of population, and you know, I'd love to wait to get the royal hosting so we can get Galadrim warriors instead, because this is just such a cool unit. But Galadrim scouts are very good. It'll take us 2 turns. There's 41. We can train, you know, another unit of them, so we may as well get going there. And in Fairfeld, we also have some options. We can go with either archers, Elven foresters, or swords, Elven wardens. You know, on the one hand, it might be nice to have some slightly more solid bodies to hold off an assault, but on the other hand, these guys are a little cheaper in the long run, and I like the range. Especially where these guys have to do such double duty. So we'll go with them. And, oh yeah, I forgot about these guys, our Imladris Lancers. It costs us so much to train them at 2580. And it'll take a couple of turns, but absolutely I want these guys. Well, I guess it's a good thing I trained those Elven Foresters because we did get attacked. So we've got a couple of armies here, and one of them has Olog-hai. It looks like there are 6 soldiers in this unit, and this is the general or the captain unit, so that makes things a little, oh, I don't know, complicated maybe. But in the reinforcing army, they've got a lot of stuff that looks like it's just from all corners of Adunabar's kingdom. They've got Rohan levies, they've got Easterling levies, they got orcs, Mordor guys. It's just a big mix. I think honestly we'll be able to deal with this fine. My only concern, as usual, is the trolls. And as much as I'd love to set up all my men right here on this slope to face that troll army, we do have the other army approaching from exactly the opposite side, and we don't have any walls. So, well, even if we did have walls, it wouldn't matter, right? Because they'd have rams, they'd be able to bash them down. But this army is much the smaller threat. It's got a lot of that low-tier stuff. So I'm going to entrust the plaza to other guy. I can't remember his name, but he's in Shield Wall. He's got some Elven retainers. He's also got some Elven hunters, and he's got the Galadrim scouts just back here to shoot at them. Hopefully they come up straight that road. And over here, we've got our new unit, actually. We've got our Elven Foresters, kind of a rangery-looking unit here with bows. I think they've got swords as a backup. Of course, our Galadrim warriors on top of the hill with just Trenarian of the Eastern Woodland Realm holding things off melee-wise. Behind him, just a couple of skirmishers. So it looks like the Olog-hai, just like in the previous battle, are coming forward, which is kind of nice. Hopefully we'll be able to take them out before it destroys my general. Oh, and I completely forgot a unit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, come on. Come on, man. Okay, there goes some threshold troops. Oh my gosh, what an idiot. Okay. All right. Yep. We're just gonna sacrifice these guys, I guess. Are we gonna kill any of the trolls? Oh gosh, what a waste. I mean, it doesn't look good, right? They're not killing us too quickly, I guess, is the only thing we can say here. No, there they go. Definitely taking us out. The rest of the army is moving right towards the center. Oh, come on. Just take one of these guys down. Justify your existence. Oh, yeah, no, they're going to rout as soon as they get hit in the side. Okay, we did. We took one out. We took out a troll. And the troll dying, no doubt, took out, you know, the other 4 or 5 of those elves who just died all of a sudden. But we're getting ganged up on by all of these units, and we're going to be shooting a lot of arrows at the Ravanian Forester levies, which is kind of a waste. Over here, yeah, so this is some orcs, and just a weird mix of stuff. There are some archers with this army too, so I guess I have to be aware of that. But our threshold troops surprisingly hanging on still. Let's focus on those trolls if we can. Down to 19. Oh, and we took out the general. Okay. Down to 3 trolls. Oh, fantastic. You're doing heroic work, actually. But yeah, we've got some dark bows shooting at our archers, which is always annoying. Our javelins are taking out their javelins. I guess that's appropriate. I don't think we're going to see the end of these Olog-hai, unfortunately. They're not going to be completely destroyed by these threshold troops. But I guess we did better than I expected. Okay. So yeah, while the general is down, the trolls are still up. There's a bunch of archers shooting at our archers. We've got some javelins and stuff hitting them, but we haven't managed to take them out yet, and here they come at our retainers. Oh my gosh, we cut them down pretty quick, though, and that's the end of them. Okay, great. Fantastic. We'll just have you halt right there. I think we did lose quite a few elves, but hopefully he won't come back. And then hopefully also the rest of these guys will get over here pretty quick. I'd love to take out these dark bows. Over on the other side, they're being very slow to come over here, which could be a good thing. If we can rout this army first. But yeah, the troll is back. Shoot. Alright, we'll see him again. But if we can somehow manage to rout these guys soon, then we can just turn and go in the other direction. But unfortunately, I'm realizing our archers are all out of ammo, so do we want to move them to flank here? I honestly don't know that it's worth it. Let's move, I guess, to the side for both of these guys. Actually, you, I think, I'll bring over here. This is a sort of a flimsier unit, these Elven Foresters. Galadrim Warriors are pretty decent. We'll bring them around, down to the side. Alright, let's take you off guard mode, since not being on guard mode worked really well last time. He's going right for the general. Oh my gosh, okay. Alright, didn't take anybody out. Kind of hitting air here. Okay. Cultists are charging in. Alright, let's get the Elven Galadrim Warriors just charging some of these units so they're not just getting shot up for no reason. And we'll move you guys around, I think, to the flank. But the other army's approaching. We should be good with the retainer over there. Alright, I really hate how much of a beating these Galadrim Warriors have taken. So I brought the Galadrim Scouts from the plaza back down here. Just having them here seems to have precipitated this rout, so we can just grab everyone and blob them into this mass over here. And there's some routing on the other side as well, although it looks like we're going to have to send our foresters toe-to-toe with the dark bows. That's maybe a bit of a problem. I think these guys have a bit better armor. Let's see. They probably have more experience than we do, from what I can tell on the banners there. Charging in swords versus swords. We're tired. They're tired. So it's even there. They've got a little bit fewer men, but they're winning easily against us. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Fairfeld is safe for now, but the Bjornings have stirred, so they have they had a very large stack inside of Langwyck, and I brought my army fresh from the conquest of Grimhold down to set up an ambush here. They didn't fall for it, though, unfortunately. They've found me with this unit here, Golem of the Eastern Greenwood, but he's not leading the attack. It looks like Lieutenant Gum is. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to fight this. And boy, is it a night battle, and a tree battle, too. So I'll be cutting this one pretty liberally. We did manage to drive away those woodman bows who are coming with the reinforcements. But this general here is just hanging back, so I'm thinking it might be worth it just to ignore him for now. We'll get our scouts out of here, and we'll just remember that he's there. We've got our cavalry over way to the right, and our archers, as usual, are behind our front line, which is all these retainers and other units. But I think we're going to have to start moving them around because we've got other cavalry to worry about. So let's bring our own cav back. Alright, it's kind of a mess, but they're chasing our archers a little bit. Send our Naldor swords in there, and yeah, that's attracted the attention of their other infantry. Just bring my own cav away. Don't want them to get caught just yet. Put my archers on skirmish. I think they'll be fine if they get caught up in just about anything here, honestly, so not too worried about them. There is one unit of dogs, I think. Noldor doing fine. Just surrounded by these woodman spears. That's exactly what I want, really. And we've got some routing. Very nice. Oh, we've got a lot of routing, as it turns out. Okay. Alright, we'll send these guys away from the charging spearmen if possible. I'd like to get them caught up with the cav. Alright, there goes the captain. And there goes these guys. Great. Okay, we'll just keep them on them. Woodman axes are wavering, and there's a lot of bows back here. There are some calves. Some of these guys are going to come back, but I think we've done the bulk of it, honestly. Well, I can't complain with that. For a battle I was not really looking for and wasn't sure that I wanted initially, we did very, very well indeed. The Golem of the Eastern Greenwood got away with his bodyguard, so he will be a problem for later, but we took out a ton of the Bjornings. And hey, just like that, start of the next turn, sack a few settlements, burn a few buildings down, lose a few troops to, you know, war and wastage, and all of a sudden you're in the black again. So we're projected to make almost 5 grand this turn, even with a settlement under siege. That is Hjorth, which is currently manned, as you recall, by only 3 understrength units of threshold troops. Now, the army that is assaulting it doesn't look too great. I wonder if we can get a closer look at it here. Okay, they've got a family member there. Yeah, so I think we could probably handle that fight if they did assault with this particular army. But it might be something I want to have a bit of help with. In Dale, though, we were not besieged again this turn. So if I wanted to, what we might do is take these troops out, attack this full stack, get rid of it, and then move back to support Hjorth if need be. Over in the west, things are looking a little bit cleaner in the Bjorning area. There's not this giant stack in Langwak. I don't see any other troops with the exception of these guys, so we'll just move our wardens a bit closer. There we go. But in the south, we've got some problems. We've got a huge army of Dale that apparently moved down from the East Bight because they own Northern Rovanian and the East Bight, but they do not own Western Rovanian, so they moved down this way. That's something to keep in mind, I guess. They've moved through Adunabar's territory to get to us. Well, they're allies, right? And this one looks like this one is going to be a bit of more of a problem to deal with. So we've got our units in Fairfeld. We can retrain them, so I'm definitely going to do that, but we don't have the men, unfortunately, to train anything more than that. So we'll get those guys back up to full strength, and then hopefully we can hold out against Dale down here. However, we do have some more men coming in to support. We've got a unit of, let's see. Well, we've actually got 2 units of Elven Riders and a unit of Mariners all the way from Mithlond who've been slowly making their way back to the east. They're approaching Lastbridge, and in a couple of turns we'll be able to approach the Misty Mountains and down into the Vale of Anduin. And then, of course, in the following season, we're going to have this unit of Imladris Lancers to join them. So that'll make a big difference, hopefully. The thing we will have to determine is, can we get all these troops in place without losing Fairfeld? That's the thing I'd like to keep hold of, because in part we've got some really nice units here that I'd love to retrain if we can eventually get them in a position to do that. Also, it just keeps them off of our back. We don't want to lose these elven settlements, so Fairfield is a nice distraction for them. But I think that'll have to wait until the next episode, folks. Thank you very much for joining me in this one. I hope you'll stick around to see whether we can hold on under this pressure. Until the next one, take care.